Who is America? You're looking at it. I strongly suggest you channel your concern and worry towards the Iran war. That would help enough. Let me be very clear about something. During the Iranian hostage crisis, guess who was freed? The Black Americans. See, those folks know how to respect our people, who we are, and what we've built. But many of you, you're disrespectful, and you will pay for your disrespect. I'm not going to argue you down. Just understand that every time you speak ill of us, you learn.
Why are y'all so angry? You have the White House, you have both houses of Congress, you have a Supreme Court that is completely obedient to your president. They're willing to give him unlimited power. They're willing to say that he can take SEAL Team 6 and kill anybody he wants. They were willing to affirm that. They're willing to say that ICE can racially profile anybody they want. The United States Supreme Court has said you can racially profile Latinos based on their accent or the way they look. You guys have everything you want. You have legal racial profiling. You've ended DEI. You've ended affirmative action. You get all the best jobs even if you're not qualified. You can be a Fox Weekend host and be the Defense Department's Secretary of Defense. You can be Kash Patel and be a podcaster who wants to go to Valhalla and run the FBI as long as you're conservative. You have everything. Why are y'all so angry? What the fuck are you angry about? You've banned all of our books. You've banned Black history. You banned the 1619 Project. You don't have to compete with women for jobs. You've chased them out of the military. You've chased them out of the senior positions in the Department of Defense. You've gotten rid of all the Black history in the museums. Museums are terrified. I have contacts that I'm talking to inside of the Interior Department, people who are running all of those spaces where you can go and see a Civil War memorial or something. The people who work in these places are terrified. They're afraid to tell the real history. The people who are working for the federal government are afraid to say the word Black. You guys have canceled Black scholarships. You're damn near, I guess, ready to get rid of HBCUs. Donald Trump just recently said they're not going to fund any minority serving institution. Y'all have gotten rid of that. You've gotten rid of help for Black kids to go to college. What more do you want? What are you so angry about? I go every so often, I go and lurk and look on X Twitter. Y'all are the maddest people ever. Y'all are so angry for people who have everything. Y'all said you want your country back. You have it. The rest of us are sitting back and trying to keep our peace and preserve our peace while you all are running the country. If the airlines are crashing, that's you. That's the people you wanted to run the United States government. The FBI, y'all are laughing at them on X Twitter and saying that they look ridiculous. That's your FBI. They've purged the people who made the FBI what it was. It's not what you wanted. You have your podcasters running the FBI. You have your friend from the real world running the Department of Transportation. That's what you wanted. There's no longer a gay guy there. The gay guy's gone. The gay guy's at home with his kid and his husband. He's not in charge anymore. The Department of Justice is what you wanted. It's your Justice Department that won't release the Epstein files. If you're mad about the Epstein files, you shouldn't be mad at me and the left. You need to be mad at Donald Trump. You all have the country. You run every red state like it's already Project 2025. You won't let women have abortions in Texas. They're literally dying of sepsis. That's what you wanted. You wanted women to have only 6 weeks to get an abortion in Georgia. You got it. You wanted Texas to be a petri dish and a laboratory for every right-wing, anti-Black, anti-gay, anti-trans idea. And you also got rid of vaccines. Every child in Florida is now going to go to school with kids who could give them measles, mumps, and rubella and COVID. That's what y'all wanted. You now have a paradise in Florida where you can get sick, cough on people, let them die of whatever disease you're carrying. It's almost like you've got the pilgrims again that can come and cough on all the natives and take them out. That's what you wanted. You got it. You wanted Florida to be that. It's that. You wanted the United States to be Florida. It's that. But yet you all are still so angry. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. I don't mean to rant and rave, but I am genuinely trying to get to the bottom of what you all are so angry about. And I think I have a suspicion and I have a guess. What you all are angry about is that while you have gotten everything you wanted on the right, we on the other side won't give you love for it. We won't respect you for it. We won't hail you for it. We won't respect you and say, hey, we want to, have you at the Oscars. We want to fet you. We want to make you guys, we want to wrap our arms around you. You want us to embrace you. You don't just want to run us and tell us what to do and tell us what to think and tell us what to read and tell us what history we can have. You don't just want to tell us what to do. You want us to embrace you. What you really want is to sit at our table. You're mad because while you are running the country into the ground, you're destroying your own farmers with tariffs. You're destroying your own farmers by taking away their subsidies that used to go with USAID. You got what you wanted. They've ended the farm subsidies. These are the things y'all asked for. You got your big, beautiful budget. That's what you wanted. Trump gave it right to you. You got your permanent tax cut. You're still pissed because the left, the other side, the majority, we still cannot stand you. We cannot stand Christian nationalism. We don't want it. And because we will not say we want your Christian nationalism, we embrace your Christian nationalism. We like your Christian nationalism. We like you. Because we won't do that, that's why you're still mad. But guess what we're going to keep on doing? We're going to keep on being moisturized and unbothered, and we still not going to like it. We're never going to like Christian nationalism. We're never going to accept it. We're never going to be down with it. And our squad is bigger than your squad at the end of the day. We have the Boricuas. We got the Mexican Americans. They done woke up. They said, whoo, Lord, let's go ahead and go with these folks. We got the spicy whites. The spicy white folk are with us. They're with us. Right? We got the Asian Americans who've woken up and said, whoa, we better be with them. Right? Chinese Americans, they see you. Japanese Americans are like, you're going to do internment again? We see you.
South Koreans
are like, whoa, we see you. Y'all going to kick the South Koreans out. Now you're going to cry because Georgia's going to have a worse economy because you're not going to get to have the South Koreans teaching y'all to have those high-tech jobs. The South Koreans are like, oh, well, sure hate it. Africa's like, we're just going to do business with each other. We got BRICS. We don't need y'all. Tourists are like, we don't need y'all. The African Americans, the Caribbean Americans are getting together and said, yo, why are we fighting each other? Caribbean Americans are like, yo, we were y'all. We've been hip hop together. Let's go off. And you're mad at us because we do not want to be with you. This America you want, that's yours, y'all.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Sparkle's Show. I hope you're doing all right, because today's conversation sits right at the intersection of perception, politics, identity, and a whole lot of assumption. And as always, credit to the original creators and everyone who contributed to and stitched together the perspectives we're unpacking today. These conversations don't just appear out of nowhere. They build from real reactions, real tensions, and real questions people are asking. So let's get into it, and I will be back for more commentary.
Right. We're colonizers. Yes, we are. I got to be honest about it. We really are. And I know white people right now are saying, I'm not a colonizer. Oh, you hurt my feelings. Well, you are. And probably in your mindset, in your ideology, you probably do have the mentality of a colonizer because most white people do. And I'll tell you why. 500 years ago, our colonizing culture, white European culture, was born. And we set out to steal things, resources, and that were not ours. We colonized, we enslaved all over the world. We enslaved Africans. We tried to dehumanize them and tell them, manipulate them, and gaslight them by telling them that they are not equal to us, that they are as an animal, and that the only real human are white people. Oh, I don't see color. Oh, it's the black man's fault that he's in the position. Well, what about black on black crime? I mean, it goes on and on and on. You know, I mean, I could sit here all day and give you examples. All lives matter. I mean, it just goes on all day. Black people ask for justice. White people find a way to try to obscure it, to try to take away from it, to try to demean it. We are colonizers. And I say that based on our behavior, collectively as white people. That until we stop being gaslighters and colonizers, white people are on a path of self-destruction. White supremacy, the lies of white supremacy, the colonizing mentality has never brought the white man happiness, and it never will. It's toxic, dysfunctional, and self-defeating, and it's not helping us. And now there's all this white rage because when the abuser loses control, he gets angry. And then Trump was born because we had a black president. And he was perfect because he was racist. And that's what white America wanted because they're angry because they felt like they were losing control. These colonizers have to have control. And we had a black president. And everybody just shit all over themselves. White people just freaked the fuck out. Oh my God, we're losing control. We have a black president. He's going to oppress us and enslave us. God knows we're going to be whipped and lynched. This is literally, I think, some of the thoughts, the subconscious. I'm exaggerating, but in a way it's true. The greatest fear of the colonizer is all that evil, vile shit that we did will be done up unto them, us. And that's why there's so much white rage. The numbers are changing. Pretty soon, white people will not be the majority. The abuser loses control. So what do? We continue gaslighting. We continue with white rage. White domestic terrorism on the rise. The greatest threat in America. White people are enraged because they can no longer control their victims, black and brown people, the way that they want to. They're losing some of their power, some of their positions, some of their privilege. They feel threatened. So here we are, in a state of crazy, utter chaos. That's why I say the lies of white supremacy is our...
Okay, first of all, the people that were Trump supporters are posting this clip of him. I don't know how many years ago it was, but anyway, it's being posted everywhere.
Think of it. We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it? And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges, our hospitals even, our schools even. It's crazy.
I'm seeing this resurgence of this tweet from them where they were the pro-peace ticket and where they tried to scare you if you vote for Kamala, your kid's going into World War III. They're finding and posting any old tweets about Iran and Obama and how going there would be terrible and how Obama will do it for this and that. Here's just one set of these right here. And there's a lot more. Yeah, so just single ones are being posted everywhere, and then people have different clusters of them and different videos, like from then back in 2016 to now, how it's so different. Womp womp. I didn't go find all the really big content creators, but from what I understand, the people...
Stay out of that. Let them do what they want to do. Stay out of it. Hey, if we got to go back to the pandemic style and just kind of lock ourselves down, you know what I'm saying, to stay out their way, stay out their way. It is not, whatever they decide to do with each other, let them have it. Because one thing I know, and we already see it, they're not going to deal with each other. So if we're around, they're going to target us. If we're not around, they target themselves. But if you understand European history, that's what it was. They always were fighting each other in Europe. And then when they start coming around us and other people, then that's when they stop attacking each other and start attacking and colonizing and enslaving and all that other stuff at the places they had colonized, right? So introducing us and others kind of kept them from fighting each other so much. But we're not around, they have to deal with each other. So I'm telling black folk, stay out of the way. Stay out of their stuff.
Y'all are so blinded by hate. Let me tell you how racism is going to keep the middle class stuck. America has a long, ugly history of people hating black and brown folks so much so that they're willing to vote against their own survival just to keep their own racist ideologies alive. Time and time again, working class white Americans have been tricked into supporting policies that make them poorer, sicker, and more desperate, all because those in power tell them that they're going to punish black people and immigrants and other marginalized groups. Donald Trump's tax plan is the latest proof of this self-destructive cycle. His policies will hurt 95% of Americans, especially working class white Americans who make up a large percentage of his base, but yet they will still support him. Why? Because his campaign fuels their hate, distracting them from the fact that they too are being robbed. They are so determined to see black people struggle, so obsessed with upholding white supremacy that they will literally vote to make themselves poor if it means keeping the lie alive. Meanwhile, the ultra-rich, who don't care about race at all, just about staying rich and in power, laugh as they continue to collect wealth off the backs of struggling Americans. Trump's tax plan is not just about economics. It's a weapon of mass distraction, designed to use racism as a smokescreen while the rich steal from the poor. This isn't anything new. It's the same trick used throughout history. From the days of slavery, when rich plantation owners convinced poor whites to fight for a system that oppressed them too, to Jim Crow laws, to today's voter suppression and economic exploitation. The question I have is, when will people wake up? How much suffering will it take for them to see that the real enemy isn't black and brown people? It's the billionaires and the politicians robbing them blind while feeding them lies. This is the truth that racists don't want to admit. The very policies they think will hurt black and brown folks will hurt them first. And when they find out that they've been used as pawns in a game that's designed to keep them struggling, it may be too late.
Biden's running for a second term. I know he's old, but he's better than Trump. I'll be voting for him. Yeah, me too. Wish we had a better option though. Yeah, well, at least it's not Trump. We gotta pick the lesser of two evils. Yeah, I guess so. A few months later. Oh my God. Joe Biden stepped down, and now Vice President Kamala Harris is running for office. I don't know why you're excited, Nick. Kamala Harris is pro-Israel. She's a genocidal maniac. We're going to call her Genocide Harris. Wait a minute. Vice President Harris hasn't changed any policies or thought processes than Biden when it comes to Israel and Palestine. She would be way better for black people. She has a history of trying to make law enforcement and just the judicial system more transparent. Trump wants to take away those things and give police more immunity to kill us black people. Like, we're literally going through a slow genocide here as African Americans. I thought that y'all understood that. That's why y'all say we're brothers and sisters. The only real difference is that she's black. Now you want to make this a race thing. After we stood up for you during Black Lives Matter, you're going to vote for Genocide Harris? What the fuck are you talking about? Trump is literally going to do way worse in Palestine. You know that, don't you? Oh, I didn't say I was voting for Trump. I just said I wasn't voting for Kamala. Then who are you voting for? I didn't say Trump. And what about us here? As black people, we're going to be affected if Trump wins. Y'all will be affected too, but like, we're going through our own genocide. Don't you care? Like, we even promoted your movement during our movement, which was overshadowed by your movement and everybody else's. Let me just be honest. I'm not voting for
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. There's this idea circulating right now that some people are deeply frustrated, almost offended, by what they perceive as a lack of reaction from Black Americans when it comes to international conflict, specifically something as serious as tensions involving Iran. And the framing of that frustration is interesting, because it's not just concern, it's confusion mixed with irritation. The question being asked in different ways is, why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you as emotionally invested as we are? But here's the thing. Before we even try to answer that, we need to examine the assumption behind the question itself. Because embedded in that question is the belief that there is a correct way to respond. That there is a standard emotional script everyone should follow. That if something is important on a global scale, then every group within the country should express urgency in the same tone, with the same intensity, and on the same timeline. And that's where the logic starts to fall apart. Because the United States is not a monolith. It never has been. Different communities exist within entirely different realities, even while sharing the same geographic space. So expecting uniform emotional responses to complex global events ignores that basic truth. Now, let's talk about why that matters. For many Black Americans, the relationship with national identity, especially in the context of government decisions and international policy, is layered. It's not simple, and it's not automatic. Historically, there's been a pattern of being called upon to support, defend, or participate in national efforts, while simultaneously navigating inequality and exclusion at home. That creates a different lens. So when something happens internationally, the response isn't always immediate alignment with dominant narratives. Sometimes it's measured, sometimes it's cautious, and sometimes it's intentionally quiet. Not because the issue isn't serious, but because experience has taught people to be selective about where they place their energy. And that's something people don't always want to hear, because it challenges the expectation of unity. Now, on the flip side, you have individuals who are deeply invested in how the country operates on a global stage. For them, international conflict isn't abstract. It's tied to national pride, security, influence, and identity. So when they don't see others reacting with the same level of urgency, it can feel like a disconnect, or even a lack of solidarity. But that interpretation assumes that everyone is operating from the same emotional framework, and they're not. Because while some people are focused on what's happening overseas, others are still processing what's happening at home. Economic pressure, policy changes, cultural shifts, these are not background issues. For many, they're front and center. So when you ask, why aren't you reacting to this global situation? The unspoken answer might be, because I'm still dealing with what's happening right here. And that's not avoidance. That's prioritization. Now, let's bring in a little satire here because honestly, the situation almost writes itself. You've got people looking around saying, why isn't everyone alarmed? And others quietly thinking, we've been alarmed, just about different things. It's like walking into a room where one group is shouting about a storm outside and another group is saying, there's a leak in the roof right above us. Both things matter, but they're not experiencing urgency in the same way. And instead of recognizing that difference, the conversation turns into frustration. Now let's talk about this idea of rage, because that's another layer being pushed. There's a narrative that positions one group as calm and another as constantly angry. But if you really look at it, what you're seeing is not inherent rage. It's a reaction to unmet expectations. When people expect alignment and don't get it, frustration builds. When they expect validation and don't receive it, that frustration turns into irritation. And when that irritation isn't resolved, it starts to look like anger. But the root of it isn't always what it appears to be. Sometimes it's about control over the narrative. Because if everyone reacts the same way, it reinforces a shared story about what matters and how it should be interpreted. But when different groups respond differently, it disrupts that story. And disruption makes people uncomfortable. Now here's where things get even more interesting. There's an underlying expectation, not just that people should care, but that they should care in a way that is visible, vocal, and aligned with a specific viewpoint. And when that doesn't happen, it raises a deeper question. Is the issue really about concern or about agreement? Because those are not the same thing. Someone can be aware of a situation, understand its seriousness, and still choose not to engage publicly. That doesn't mean they don't care. It means they're engaging on their own terms. And in a world where everything is performative, where reactions are measured by posts, comments, and visibility, that kind of quiet engagement can be misinterpreted as indifference. But it's not. Now, let's zoom out a bit. What we're really looking at here is a shift in how people engage with information and events. The idea that everyone should react immediately, publicly, and uniformly, that's a relatively new expectation, driven largely by social media. Before that, people processed things differently. Reactions were more localized, more personal, less performative. Now, there's pressure to respond in real time, to take a stance instantly, to signal alignment. And not everyone is interested in participating in that. Some people are choosing to step back, observe, and decide where their voice actually matters. And that choice can look like silence to those expecting constant engagement. But again, that silence is not empty. It's intentional. Now, let's address the bigger picture. The frustration we're seeing isn't just about one issue. It's about a broader tension between expectation and autonomy. One side is asking for alignment, unity, visible concern. The other side is exercising choice, independence, and selective engagement. And those two approaches don't always meet in the middle, but maybe they're not supposed to. Because diversity in perspective doesn't just mean different opinions, it means different priorities, different emotional responses, and different ways of interacting with the world. And if we're being honest, that's part of what makes a society function. Not everyone moves in the same direction at the same time. Now, here's the ironic part. The same independence that people celebrate in theory, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, is the same independence that creates discomfort when it leads to unexpected outcomes. It's like saying, be free, but only in ways that make sense to me. And that's not freedom, that's conditional acceptance. So when people ask, why aren't they reacting? What they might really be asking is, why aren't they reacting the way we expected? And that's a very different question. Because the answer to that question is simple. People don't all experience the world the same way. And once you accept that, the confusion starts to fade. Now, does that mean the tension disappears? No, but it becomes easier to understand. Because instead of seeing silence as a problem, you start to see it as a reflection of different priorities, different experiences, and different ways of processing what's happening. And that's a more honest conversation. So maybe the goal shouldn't be to force alignment. Maybe the goal should be to understand why alignment doesn't always happen and what that tells us about the complexity of the society we live in. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one group being quiet and another being loud. It's about how people navigate a world where multiple realities exist at the same time. And once you see it that way, the question changes. It's no longer, why aren't they reacting? It becomes, what are they responding to? And why does it look different from what I expected? And that's where the real conversation begins. Let me know what you think about this one, because there's a lot to unpack, not just in the reactions themselves, but in the expectations behind them. I'll see you in the next one.